So um, I'm going to kind of start this over again so that the people who just got here can hear about it. So, like I said, I'm about to do a horror movie review. What I've been doing lately is whatever horror movie news I pick up over the week that directs me to a movie is what I'm reviewing. And I'm going to actually turn off those alerts before I get too much further just in case something else happens. There we go. Um, so this week I decided on Hatchet, and it's a movie by Adam Green, who also did, if anybody has seen it, Frozen. He wrote for the Friday the 13th the game. There's also a series called Holstein that I haven't seen, so I don't know anything about it. And he did this horror mockumentary called Digging Up the Marrow that I actually really enjoy. But like I said, this is a movie that's a callback to the 80s slashers. It was made in 2006. It's so much of a callback that it actually includes cameos with Robert Englund, who's Freddy Krueger, if you don't know, and Tony Todd, who was Candyman. Um, and it actually has Kane Hodder, who starred as Jason in a number of the Jason films. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason Goes to Hell. Jason X. He was also in the video game. He does all sorts of stunts and other movie shit. But he was the villain in this movie. Whose name is Victor Crowley. It's not a serious horror by any stretch of the imagination. It definitely takes its inspiration from the campy sequels that follow the originals, and it takes not only the camp but the practical effects. So you get the jokes and you get those old time kind of amazingly weird yet surreal kind of effects that just kind of made 80s horror what it was. You go quickly from these kind of joke lame stereotypes, bunch of kids in New Orleans on a vacation with a soppy kind of sad guy who just got broken up with and doesn't want anything to do with all the tits and everything around him, and he just wants to mope, and he drags his friend on a boat tour. Boat tour gets stranded. On the boat tour, there's a sleazy guy doing a kind of scripted version of Girls Gone Wild with two porn actresses who randomly pull out their breasts and kiss to make the movie, or to make his little movie. And you find out later he's not even a real director. He's just a guy with a bunch of business cards. And then you have one of the girls comes out with the scary story about the guy who was killed by his father or whatever. And it's actually a really amusing movie. They're young adults, not teenagers. It's kind of, but it's got one of those semi-low budget production values that kind of puts it where it is. A strict horror connoisseur who is uppity about his scripting and visuals and stuff probably isn't going to enjoy it, but it's mindless fun and blood, and definitely reminds me of my childhood. So it does an excellent job. For me, it's a solid 3.5 out of 5. I would say if you enjoy mindless camp or movies you don't have to. It's just a good movie. It's a movie you sit and watch and you laugh and you jump a little sometimes, but not really, because it's not a real scare. But there's actually 2 sequels, Hatchet 2 and 3, that follow the same formula. They become increasingly more absurd as the movies in the 1980s used to. And there's even a self-titled Victor Crowley movie that I have not seen yet at this point, because I just haven't watched it yet. So that's sad. And the reason I've come up to this is this. They are going to do a one-off comic with Victor Crowley, Hatchet, Unstoppable Horror. Now, the reason I say this is something other people will have an opinion about is, for one, I don't know how most comic book enthusiasts feel about one shots, and for two, I don't know how the art ranks on a Hollywood enthusiast, comic book enthusiasts um, levels of whatever. But he's a creature, of pure rage and anger in the swamps, and I personally think the art's pretty cool. At least after I sat down and rewatched the movie today to make sure I wasn't talking out my rear end about the movie, and I think it looks. I mean, it's not obviously it's not quite exactly like the movie, but overall, I love this image. This is really awesome to me. Uh, and it honestly fits right out of the movie. So I think it's pretty neat. I mean, like I gotta stop saying I mean, but yeah. So it's entertaining to me. So I don't know how many of the comic book fans I have in the audience right now, but if you guys want to tell me how you feel about it, please do. At least about the art or whatever. I would appreciate the feedback on that, because I think, in my humble, uneducated opinion, I think it looks pretty good.